Welcome to the Motherboard podcast. This is long overdue. I looked up in August of last year of 2024, I announced that I was going to do a podcast. And then a lot of things happened. And it made me very much be like, I'm not doing this. And get discouraged. Learn the difference in good business and bad business, good connections and bad connections, all the things. But we're here because if you've known me, you know that I have always wanted my own talk show, actually. Just being honest and transparent. I obsessively used to watch Fashion Police, E! News, Wendy Williams, The View, like you name it, I watched those things obsessively. If it was a talk show, 106 in Park, like I just loved watching people sit down and talk about what they're going through in their life or talk about their upcoming album and what they're wearing, like, obsessed. And I love Joan Rivers because she would read somebody down for the things that they had on. And I always used to be like, I want to do that. Like, I want to talk about people, like, as far as what they're doing, what their life looks like. And then I want to talk about what you're wearing. But I want to do it for the church. I got a question when I was in college that one of my mentors never let me forget at orientation. It was, what do you want to be famous for? And the first thing that came out of my mouth was, I want to be famous for talking about Jesus. And that has always been the goal. Like, since I was little, and I used to sit in my granny den with my brother and them, and I would force them to play church with me. And I would force them to play Jerry Springer and Mari, like talk shows. I would force them to be guests on my show. And I always knew, like, this is what I want to do. I got in trouble in class all the time, not because I was bad. I would do my work, and then I would start talking to people like, oh, what do you like? What do you like? I'm gonna have to find some. But my mom had papers of the teacher being like, she's a great student. She just would not stop talking to her friends. Like, I just knew, like, I want to talk about Jesus, and I loved clothes. And I grew up in a Black church and a Black home. So being able to actually express myself with my clothes and stuff, it wasn't a thing until I actually went off to college. And so once I started doing it, I was like, yeah, like, we're learning. And I was learning about patterns and trends and just all the things. And I was like, yeah, I want to do this full time. And so here we are. We're going to talk about Jesus. We are going to have some guests some days. Some days it's probably just going to be me talking about Jesus and what I'm experiencing. But the way that I wanted to structure this was, again, I grew up in a Black church, and I think Black church has some of the funniest things in it, but also some of the best things. Like, you just cannot convince me that Black church culture is not one of the greatest things ever. Oh, Black church culture. I grew up being in multiple services and Terry service and musicals and plays, just the drama of it all. And I'm so thankful. And so this will pretty much run the same. Welcome to church. This is the motherboard. The motherboard came from when I was growing up. The mothers at the church would have meetings. And in those meetings, they would discuss the church rules and bylaws, what the church needed. And then they would devise a plan. And they would also talk about, they called it the sick and shut in list, the people that they were going to pray for and go out and minister to. And they was just the people that you saw, like, serving in the foyer. And like, they were the people, the core of the church, if you ask me. The church mothers are the core of the church. They come in to pray with you. They come in to see about you and your child. Like, they're there. And so I was always like, I want to be a church mother. Like, I want to wear the brooches, which I do. I want to wear the hats. I want to do it all. But I was never old enough to be on the motherboard. And then now I am not old enough still to be a church mother, but I'm what they consider the church auntie. So I've officially invited myself to be the mother, because I'm not a mother. And yeah, auntie is gonna give you all the tea. She's gonna tell you the things you don't want to hear about you. She's gonna tell you stuff about herself, but she will always show up. because I will always show up, I will always pray, and I will always intercede for you. And it being a boardroom is because there are multiple people that are going to come in this boardroom and give you the same type of vulnerability, the same type of real, raw, and unfiltered conversation through their own experiences. And they're all mothers, fathers, sons, daughters. We all just trying to do the same thing, and that is honor God the best way that we can. And so that is what we're going to do here. So with that being said, we will always start our service with church announcements. Whatever the Lord gives me to announce is what we're going to announce. No, but really, you play a part in this too. I want you to share all of your announcements about what you grew up hearing in a Black church, like what you liked, what you didn't like why are we doing this on Sundays? Like, I want to hear those things. I want to hear your ideas about how to make gospel shows better, how to make red carpets look better, because that's the church announcement. What are we wearing? What are we wearing to these awards? Like, we're going to talk about it because I want to know why y'all be putting that on. But anyways, so you're always going to get an opportunity to share your church announcements. I will always give you some church announcements, and the same for prayer requests. This will always be a place for the sick and shut in. And not just the sick and shut in, but even the happy and the healing. Like, this will always be a place, and there will never be a moment where you cannot come and be prayed for here. So that will either be done, I will post in my story, how can I pray for you? Or if you just feel led, you can always send a DM. I'm going to encourage you every week to send a DM about what you need to be partnered in prayer with. Like, the Bible literally is clear about where two or more are gathered, surely he is there. And so I am going to partner with as many people as I can, whether it's the subject touched you and you need prayer because that's what you're experiencing, or you just randomly got up today and was like, I just need somebody to come in agreement with this with me. As long as it ain't no foolishness, because I'm not coming in agreement with no foolishness. I'm not coming in agreement with you going to key his car or beat him up. I'm not doing that. But anything else, I will come in agreement with you on, and we gonna pray that the Lord just meets you there. So those are just some standard house rules. Respect all my guests. Like, be nice in the comments because I will turn them off. I am not going back and forth with anybody because you don't be going back and forth with the pastor. When the pastor gives the word, you are listening. So you're going to listen. Amen. Our topic will always be our sermon. That will be the word that God gave us and what we are deep diving in. We will always, always, always do an A and B selection because I grew up in a choir, and you got an A and a B selection before that word went forth. And so we will always talk about music because music is something that is super important to me in my life. Like, baby, music keeps me. Worshiping the Lord keeps me. And so we will always, always talk about music, whether that is old music on their playlist, whether that is new music. I will have a running playlist based off of our guests and just what they mention, because sometimes I think we can get in a routine of what we're used to hearing. So having a playlist created is for you to be exposed to things that you've never heard, or just the music that you want to hear. Like, that's a good song, I want to hear that again. So we will always talk about music. We will always talk about Sunday's best. What are we wearing? What's in your closet? What's your go-to item? Like, those are things that I want to know because I am a fashion girly at the end of this, and this is supposed to be about Jesus and fashion because those are two things that are important to me. So we're always going to talk about what we putting on and what we shouldn't be putting on at the same time. So with all that being said, I don't want to keep you very long. This was just to introduce like what this is, what this season is for me. I am terrified. I am a producer full time, so that means I am behind the camera. And while I have had visions and dreams and seen all the things of me being in front of a camera and have done moments of this before, short story, one of my college friends who will be featured on this will tell you I wanted to have a talk show so bad I started one. It used to be called Danae's Den. And I recorded a couple episodes and I let fear really talk me out of it. And that's not gonna be the case in this season. We are going to be submitted to what the Lord says. And so this is going to be a space where good things are gonna come from it, bad things are not going to come from it, but we may address some bad things. People may cry. I may cry. Like, this is just a lot for me because it's putting me in a space to be vulnerable and to be seen. Because I'm such a behind the scenes person and I am the friend that will war for you and help you get to your goal and help your vision come to life. And when it comes to me, I typically put those things on the background. Even though I've heard time and time again that I have things that I can say and have a way of communicating. And so I'm just nervous. I'm out here in the raw, in the deep. So yeah, this is the motherboard. Welcome to the boardroom. The look may change every now and again, but that's not the point. The message is still the same. And I just pray that Jesus will meet you where you are, and that every episode that you would take something from it that you can apply to your life, or that it just ministered to you. And I just pray that you would pray for me and with me as I go on this journey. I don't have a deadline, a stopping point, or anything like that. This is what the Lord has pricked my heart about and asked me to be obedient about, and we're gonna do it. So all of you that have asked me, when is it coming? When is the podcast coming? It's here. It is here. So yeah, I will begin dropping episodes soon. I love you guys. And welcome to the motherboard.